Hi everyone, welcome. I'm out here in my backyard at my outdoor worm bag, and what we see here on top is something I had set up to try to deal with what I had noticed last time we came in here. Last time we came in here, when we lifted up this piece of plywood, on the cardboard right below there had been a whole bunch of ants starting to gather here, and they even had their eggs starting to pile up over here. So I took one of these things in the hopes that I can rid us of the ant population attempting to move in here. So I just figured I'd leave this here on top just in case, but I don't think there's really a need for this to continue in here, so I'm going to just be leaving that out when we're finished here today. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we last checked in on this system to give them some food. At that time, we did bump into a few things that were leftovers, such as this right here. I'm spotting already I think this is just the skin of a avocado. And I remember we also bumped into some mango. I had taken an entire mango and cut it in half. And the worms were starting into it a little bit, but it was still showing up as leftovers. But even though we found leftovers, we gave them a little pile of veggies, and we even gave the system a whole pear. One entire pear was thrown in here too, so after 2 weeks, I'm not sure what to expect in terms of leftovers. Perhaps we'll still see some of the mango that was given last time. Yep, and I think that's what we're bumping into here already. The mango has this interesting husk surrounding the seed. It's made up of all these fibers, and it's kind of cool once the worm bin gets working on one of these things, how the fibers start to come loose and become all furry and fuzzy. And then the worms really seem to enjoy it as well. And by cutting the seed in half this way, the actual seed itself here within the husk is revealed. But other than the fibers on the husk starting to become a little bit loosened up and unraveled, it doesn't seem like they made a lot of progress on the seed itself that's inside. I always thought that that was the part that they really enjoy, and that they'd be all over that by me cutting the seed in half that way to reveal its insides and make it easily accessible. And I'm really just sort of diving straight down into the middle of the bin in pursuit of other leftovers. I'm assuming we're going to bump into the other half of this mango seed, but you never know. The system does have a fair bit of space in it for things to hide and evade my searching. Here's just like a pretty good sized stick. I'm not all that particular about the materials I use when I'm building these outdoor systems. Nope, did I just find the other half? I believe I did. There we go. So there's that other cut half of the mango seed. Here too, you can see a good number of worms just enjoying the fibrous outer husk of the mango seed. And in time it'll break down. So I mean, 2 weeks since the last feeding of veggie scraps and a pear, an entire pear. Could this be the pear? Wow, look at that. I really didn't think we'd find so much of it. I thought the pear would be a popular item that the worms would be all over. But it does seem like it's survived the last 2 weeks. Kind of makes me wonder why, but who knows. We did provide these worms with a great deal of the stuff that they probably favor the most over anything else, which is just leaves. You would think after, many billions of years, or how many years, centuries, millennia, worms have existed on this earth. They've they've grown quite adept at breaking down pretty much any organic matter that's in the process of decomposition, but I think leaves are probably the one thing that time has given them the opportunity to become experts at breaking down, and maybe just because of that it becomes one of their most favorite things to eat. So by building this system with a great deal of leafy material, perhaps I've given them a reason to not focus so much on the kitchen scraps I place in here to feed them. So I've created a pretty good size hole. I'm even questioning if I've possibly reached the bottom. No, not yet. I'm still managing to excavate more material from the very bottom here. But we've definitely created a hole, probably much greater than we need to. I don't have plans to add more bedding material. It does feel to me like we've built a system that's already kind of close to its capacity. I like to leave a little bit of breathing room for myself to do what I do, which I'm showing here already, which is stacking up stuff on the sides of the hole. When I go to create an opening into which we're going to place their latest feeding. So I think we're just going to skip again the whole idea of supplementing their bedding supply in here, since it does seem like they still have plenty. And I think we're just going to proceed with dropping in their food. I mean, oh geez. I had this little plastic container precariously resting on top of a little piece of wood, and I almost knocked it over, which would have been unfortunate. So my game plan for feeding them today was to actually, I was not entirely honest earlier when I said I'm not giving them any bedding, because they are going to get these 2 coffee filters, which in essence will be a very slight supplement to their bedding supply. Besides leaves being a suitable bedding material to build your worm bin out of, shredded paper, shredded cardboard, anything like that is also quite suitable to be used as bedding in your worm bins. So my idea here today was to simply empty the contents of these 2 days worth of coffee down into the bin first, and then on top of that bring in the kitchen scraps, which is, it's a combination of a few different things. I believe we've got some lettuce in here, as well as some carrot, maybe even a little piece of purple onion. And I even bought some stuff from the wormery for them. I bought a little bit of grit, and the grit that I use in my worm bins is traditionally pulverized eggshell. So I figured we'd also treat them to a little bit of grit, which my outdoor systems don't always get. Sometimes it occurs to me to bring out some grit and provide the worms out here with a little bit, but not always. And today would just happen to be one of those days where I remembered that it might be a good idea to give them some. So let's also not forget that we've got some leftover mango seed to return down into the feeding area, as well as this not quite eaten yet pear. Quite a bit of it remaining, as a matter of fact. But despite the fact that we're bumping into leftovers, we're going ahead and proceeding with the planned feeding as we normally would, because it's usually unlikely for me to back away from my game plan of feeding the worms when I've already got the camera rolling and I'm under pressure to get the job done. So here within this tiny paper bag is the pulverized eggshell that I'm going to drop all over their food, so that it can help them break their food down. They'll consume this along with the foods that they're eating, and then down in their gizzards, this tough, minute particle matter will help them grind the foods down and break it down as well. And guess what? Here's some even more supplemental bedding type materials to include with this feeding. So even though I kind of started off by saying we're not supplementing the bedding today, we actually are to a little degree. So I guess at this point we're in a position to begin backfilling the feeding area. Perhaps we can even check around the edges a little bit to see how things are doing. Sometimes in these fabric bags, because of the system's ability to ventilate a little bit and lose some moisture through the sides of the bag, I worry about the systems getting dry around the edges. But luckily I took extra measures this time to protect this bag from losing moisture through the sides, because not only is it 2 fabric grow bags, one nested within the other, but I also placed some sheets of plastic in between the 2 bags around the edges to protect against loss of moisture. Except I always forget. It's only when I'm finally in here tilling around and I can kind of hear the, hear it? I can hear the plastic in between the fabric material, and then I'm reminded that we're pretty well protected against drying in this system out here. So that's kind of cool. Kind of nice to come around the edges of this system now and actually encounter a good bit of nice damp material, whereas in the past I would normally encounter somewhat drier materials around the edges. I mean, the plastic that I placed in between the two grow bags is not 100%, so I believe there are a few spots where it doesn't completely go around. So there might be spots where the moisture does have opportunities to sneak out, but for the most part, we've got a system here that does a nice job hanging onto its moisture content, permitting the worms the ability to pretty much wander around almost every part of the bin and explore, rather than needing to avoid portions of it due to dryness. So that's our check-in now on outdoor worm bag, what I refer to as outdoor worm bag version 5.0, since this is now the 5th incarnation of my outdoor system. The number really just denotes the year, so this is year number 5 of having an outdoor system running. But other than me needing to take care of getting a few things put away and cleaned up, we're done here. So before I go, really quick, let me just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. As always, very much appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.